It's time for your favorite show. We'll make your brain explode. I am your host. Welcome to Ultra Reload.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ultra Reload. As always, I am your host, Douglas Erickson, and I am very pleased to say that this is Ultra Reload number 15. That is correct. We are already at number 15. Big shout out to everybody at the Ultra team who have brought this format to life. We could not do it without you. And big shout out to the community for enjoying this format and making it more and more of a priority for us. I have fun. I'm hoping you guys have as much fun as I do. Probably not, but we will get you there. We have an action-packed show today. We have Gus with his CEO updates, wider industry updates, as well as some community questions he will be answering for you. And then we also have a special guest, Koffi, who is our lead engineering manager at Ultra, and he will be coming on to talk about his time at Ultra, what his day looks like, and a little bit about some special projects he's working on. So that'll be quite fun. On top of that, we'll be going through some industry updates and the wider news space on tech, gaming, and all things related to Ultra. So without further ado, let us dive in and bring on the CEO, Gus himself. Well, Gus, thank you so much for joining us. As always, we really appreciate your time. And how is your day going so far?
Well, good. I'm in Paris for some business meeting. I'm always happy to see you and be able to speak with the community.
Perfect. Well, we're always happy to have you and appreciate your time. So let's start with a big piece of news that hit this previous week. Bybit, a huge hack, $1.5 billion, the largest in history. Any immediate thoughts on this?
Right, that's an interesting one. Well, to me, bizarrely, it's a good news, right? Of course, it's not good news because those fuckers stole 1.5 billion. But, in the real world with the real money, crooks are there everywhere, right? And what makes the market stable is that there is regulation, there is insurance, there is, like a management crisis that makes those crises not so big because it is well managed. And when you see how Bybit managed the crisis, I mean, bravo, honestly. I mean, and it's really reassuring to see that this crypto market's being more and more institutionalized because by the way people's reacting when there is major problem. And again, stealing money, it's happening in the normal market as well. And the only difference between the crypto and the other market is the way we're reacting with it. Bybit, this, to me, somehow it's a good news to see how this those guys have been able to react.
Perfect. Shout out to Bybit and the team there. We know it must have been a crisis situation, but everyone is praising you guys for how you handled it. We only hope that we ever handle a crisis like that as well as they did. So thank you for that, Gus, and a nice positive spin on a very difficult topic. So thank you for that. Guys, we've got some community questions this week, and there is a lot of community, not concern, but essentially information seeking on the previous collections, the previous roadmap items before the new company strategy and direction. And we wanted to just, let's give you a few minutes to just address past promises and clear the plate.
Yeah, just in general, because I know there's been a lot of question regarding this. And my answer is simple. It's a new management, it's a new ownership, it's a new strategy, it's a new governance. It's all this is the foundation of Ultra and what those guys have been doing for the last 7 years is essential for the future. It's the foundation of what we're doing. But nevertheless, lots of things has changed. And of course, I'm not wiping it off all the thing that has been promised and say, well, none of my business. Each of those promises will be checked very carefully and making sure that people are not ripped off regarding those promises. But at the same time, I'm not there to deliver the promises that's been done before. It's a new strategy. And again, as I said, we're taking a very close look on each promise that's been done to make sure that we can embed it somehow into the new strategy. But it is what it is, and we'll see how we're addressing it. So again, I'm not going to go back, and it's not in my roadmap to deliver the thing that's been promised before. Nevertheless, each of those will be checked, because some of them are still into the strategy, and those who are not, we'll try to place them somehow. If some of the community member has invested into those things, we'll make sure that is somehow they're not going to be ripped off regarding it.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Gus. I'm sure that'll bring some ease to some community members' minds, and I'm looking forward to addressing those. Move on to the next question. So it is a bit more technical, a bit more specific, but when the rewards for the validators will decrease, this was mentioned by the team in some previous tokenomics releases.
Well, it's already the case. It's been reduced by 50%, right? So the block producer, the revenue has been decreased by 50%. We have to be careful that we still want to reward those guys in a proper manner because we want still them to produce our blocks. So and of course it will also depends of our token price. The more the token price is increased, the more those guys are rewarded. And as you guys know, our token price is not extremely fancy for the moment. So they all made an effort. We reduced the price of 50% now. So it's not that they're making a lot of money with it. It's just break even. But since we are convinced, and they are convinced with us that this company will rise soon, then it will be a good investment for them. Right?
Perfect.
But
Thank you so much for that.
reduced by 50% from what it was before.
Thank you for that, Gus. Really appreciate the clarity. And another community question, interesting one. And what is the biggest challenge Ultra has faced so far, and how did the team overcome it?
All right. It's faced it so far because there is so many challenges ahead. But what we faced so far, I think is, well, depends if it's for the team or if it's for me. That's two different things. I think for the team, having me as a new boss is probably a big challenge. It's a big change of culture. I might be look friendly on the Ultra Reload, but on the day-to-day, I know that I'm difficult to work with. So I think it's been a big challenge for them to have me on board. That's one thing for sure. Regarding Ultra in general, when you're changing the strategy, I mean, passing from being a company that is doing R&D to a business company, it's a swipe of lots of things. You need to change people, you need to change strategy, you need to change process, you need to change culture. So many things that needs to be changed from one day to another. And this thing is certainly has been a challenge to making sure that, and on the same time, your train needs still to move on. It's not like we can say pause. Let's give us 6 months so that everybody can find the right place. So you have to change the engine of the plane while keep flying. So it's this has been a challenge, but it's an interesting one, and we are not at the end. We're not at the end, but we
I appreciate that, Gus. Great analogy. And I don't think you should be so hard on yourself. I think the team enjoys your leadership in many ways. So great. So the next question is, how are we as Ultra attracting new game developers to the platform?
Well, first of all, it's a project, right? I mean, of course, there is two aspects of it, even three, right? One is the technological components that you can give to developers, right? We have to brag, and you have to show off, and we have to explain how crazy our chain is. And our chain can be crazy if we are focused on one thing, right? And Ultra Chain is a gaming chain. It's not any gaming chain. It's the fucking gaming chain. It's the one that all the developers in gamings will say, well, there is definitely one gaming chain. It's the Ultra one. Of course, in the chain, you want traffic. That's the second aspect of it. But first, we need to be extremely strong in terms of technology. One thing. The second thing is that we have to be able to give them, if they're coming to us, they have to be able to receive stuff in exchange. And for the moment, we're not in capacity to give traffic. I mean, that's a fact. We're not having traffic that other chain has. So we have to give something else. Those developers are good at developing. That's what they do. At Ultra, we've got plenty of other things that we can do properly, and they losing times and money to do so on their day-to-day basis. I'm talking about all the shared services, right, that we can help them to do, right? We can help them to structure the company to fundraise when they need to fundraise things. We can be play the business angel on their things. We can organize plenty of different things to market the product and structure the product, right? That's the second thing that's there. And then at the end, whatever the way you're taking it, when you're doing business, you need to have a human adventure. You need to, they have to feel that they jumping on a fucking pirate ship, and to conquer the world, right? And so we have to sweat this enthusiasm for any developers that's coming. And it's not only developers, it's from customer to a publisher to developers. They need to feel that Ultra is coming to change the game, right? And this is something that is completely non-tangible. It's just the project that needs to be sold. And for me, talking to a lot of developers for the moment to make them join Ultra, this project thing is could look on the third wheel of the chariot and say, yeah, but the first thing is traffic and then the money but if they really wanted to have just making money and that's it, they would have been bankers, right? So if they're making this, is because they're enjoying what they do and they want to change things and they want to have human adventure. And definitely the project of Ultra is something that's important for them. And this is where the community again can play a role, is to sell this project, right? Sell this pirate ship, because it is something it's non-tangible. It is only tangible by the people carrying it and the community. You guys are definitely all those pirates that's on the ship and need to scream it out loud to make other people to come in the ship.
Perfect. Right? Thank you, Gus, for that. Gus, that next question is related to these roadmaps we've been sharing. How does Ashes of Mankind fit into Ultra's broader vision for gaming?
Well, we want to be placed from end to end into the value chain of gaming. So producing game is essential for us, right? You know that how much Epic has been successful thanks to his famous game. Same for Steam. So we need to have some major AAA games that's attracting people, right? At least to show to other, and it's not only to attract people, it's also to attract developers to say, look, what are we capable of? And this is the technological bricks that we're going to give you to do so as well. It's to attract other publishers to say, look, we're in capacity to publish this type of games, come to us. So having a flagship in gaming where you're controlling the entire narrative and the entire thing is essential for a platform for Ultra. So AOM is definitely one of the foundation bricks for Ultra.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Gus, for that clarification. And we bring us to the last community question this week. How does Ultra plan to keep transaction fees low and scalable as more users join?
Well, one of the beauty of our chain is that we've got no gas fee. It's just priceless for game developers, right? You know how much games got so many transactions maybe in one game, and the capacity that you have no gas fee will increase the number of transactions in a game, because all of a sudden the developers can say, okay, now I can put transaction everywhere, right? So the fact that we don't have any gas fee is a tremendous advantage for our chain and for the developers. Regarding the transaction fee, well, it's in our hands. At the end, we choose what is the price of the transaction fee and when to increase it. And this will depend of the business model per games and the business model of the opportunity of the chain later on. For the moment, what we want to offer is increase the number of transactions to the max, because you've got no gas fee. When you're going to make money, then it's the moment where we're going to ring the bell and say, hey guys, how we can, now we're going to interact. For the moment is come, make a maximum of a transaction because it's free.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Gus. Really appreciate your insights and your always giving your 2 cents and taking the time to come answer some community questions. And guys, just a quick note, please take time to send your questions through the questionnaire that is in our Discord. We will make it more available, but that is the best place to submit questions. We always want to get them to Gus as in one piece as possible. But thank you, Gus, again for your time this week.
Thank you very much to you guys, and we'll speak next week then.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Gus.
See you then. Bye.
And that was Gus, everybody, the CEO of Ultra, always providing his valuable time for us and providing some clarity to the community through community questions. So like I said, guys, we're going to go through some updates and some headlines from the week in review in the gaming space, the crypto space, and the wider tech space that affects Ultra directly. And of course, affects all of you guys. You guys are in gaming, you guys are in crypto, you deserve to know what's happening. So with that, we'll go through some of the headlines, starting with the Bybit hack, the absolute biggest headline of the past week in crypto. Bybit, basically, the exchange was hacked and nearly $1.5 billion in Ethereum stolen by North Korean hackers Lazarus. So the crypto exchange suffered a catastrophic security breach this month, with hackers linked to North Korea's Lazarus group stealing nearly $1.5 billion in assets. This marks one of the largest exchange hacks in history, raising urgent concerns about crypto security. Crypto security has never been a controversial topic. It's always been a part of the conversation, hasn't it? But this is next level. So Bybit has assured users that affected funds will be covered. But the scale of the attack underscores ongoing vulnerabilities in centralized exchanges. That's quite a mouthful. At the end of the day, the centralized exchanges do have some vulnerabilities. I will say this, and we will touch on Bybit later with Gus's opinion as well. But Bybit responded fantastically. Everybody is praising them for their very quick response, very quick solution-orientated team. And I know that that must not have been easy. So shout out to the Bybit team. Well done, guys. You're giving crypto a good name and giving some centralized and decentralized powers a good name. So well done to you guys. Yeah, the North Korea coming for the goods, guys. Let's keep the wallet safe as always. Keep your security top notch. If you want to read more about the Bybit hack, you can go onto Chainalysis and check out the article there. And guys, in other news from the other side, we have GameStop, a tried and tested gaming legendary name. They have been urged by certain parties to convert all of its $5 billion cash holdings into Bitcoin by Strive CEO Matt Cole. Obviously sees a bigger play here with Bitcoin, but Matt Cole has publicly called on GameStop's leadership to move a portion of its cash reserves into Bitcoin. And the reason for that is the potential for long-term appreciation and protection against inflation. That's what we've been saying for years. Why is it only now that these institutional investors are waking up? But that is a good move. Matt Cole, shout out to you. Please do that. The move aligns with the growing trend of corporations diversifying assets into crypto. This is no secret. There have been a few that have been doing this, and a very big public urge to do so as well, because it does rush the adoption of Bitcoin, and all of the holders are obviously celebrating for this. GameStop being an absolute legendary brand in the gaming space. So very happy to see that there's some conversation surrounding this. If you guys want to learn more, please do go and check out CoinDesk. They've got a very interesting article on it, and you can also see the video there of Jordi Alexander talking about it. So that would be great if that happens. A little bit like MicroStrategy. Thank you, Sailor. And let's see it happen, guys. Let's put some Bitcoin from gaming. Let's put some Bitcoin from tech. Let's get it in. Let's get it out. Now, another interesting one, guys, maybe not the brightest of headlines here, but a little bit of an older study, but it seems to be resurfacing now. 93% of Web3 game projects die within the first 4 months. So a recent Chainplay study, well, we say recent, it's a little bit old, but it's come back to light. Chainplay study found that 93% of Web3 game projects have failed, exposing major sustainability issues in blockchain gaming. Well, potato. But these are real statistics we got to take seriously. We will not give up the fight, obviously, but interesting study. The data reveals that only a small percentage of Web3 games remain active, with survival rates between 2.5 and 7%. Ow, that is a small margin. We will be that 1%. Many projects fail due to unsustainable tokenomics, poor game design, and lack of active player bases. Well, look, nobody can argue that Ashes Mankind is not an incredibly well-designed game, and we are doing everything in our power to bolster against exactly this kind of lack of sustainability. Shout out to all those games who tried and failed. You obviously paving the way for games like Ashes Mankind and all us others who are still in the game, trying to get the game going. But guys, if you want to read a little bit more about this, you can go check out the article on GameBeat. This is an interesting article, and it also goes over the current state of GameFi and gaming in Web3. But the high project mortality, it's a real topic. We need to keep our eyes on the ball. We need to make sure we support the games of the indie developers and the bigger studios that are moving into Web3, guys, because that is where we are, and that is where we want others to be. So Go have a read of this article. Super interesting, super enlightening, and let's avoid that 93%. Let's be that 7%. Hey, what do you think about that? And then finally, guys, an interesting topic here. Activision finally admits it uses generative AI for some Call of Duty Black Ops 6 assets after the backlash following AI slop zombie Santa loading screen. So, guys, this is actually quite a big one. This is interesting. So they finally admitted this, and there was some speculation in the gaming community about this, and it's finally confirmed. While the publisher insists that AI-generated content is only supplementary, the announcement has sparked a debate over AI's role in AAA game development. Interesting topic, interesting conversation. I want to know what you guys think. Please drop some comments below. What do you think? Were you guys one of the people speculating as to Activision's inclusion of AI-generated content in Black Ops 6? If you were, put it down in the comments, say that you were there first. But this has been confirmed. That's quite crazy. So they claim it was only used for select assets and does not replace human developers. And it marks a major shift in how AI is integrated into AAA game production. The move raises concerns about AI's impact on creative jobs in the gaming industry. Guys, these are all real topics. AI is coming, and AI is coming quick. It will replace some people, and it will make some waves. But there's a lot of positive things about AI as well. As Gus noted in his discussion at NFT Paris, AI is a tool, and it is something that can help a lot of us to create a lot more effectively. I, for one, really support this, but we have to do so responsibly. We have to scale at a pace that is in line with responsible adoption. So, guys, this is a big one. Activision finally admits it. If you guys want to read more, it is on IGN and multiple other outlets. Go ahead and have a read there. But yeah, look at this. This is an interesting article, to say the least, an interesting topic, to say the least. So, guys, that is it for the updates this week. Thank you so much for going through those with me. We will have some more interesting updates next week. But now we'll be going on to our guest of the week, Koffi, the lead engineer manager of Ultra, with his insights. Koffi, thank you so much for joining Ultra Reload today. We really appreciate your time. How are you doing, and where are you calling from?
Yeah, so thanks, Douglas. Hi, everybody. So I'm doing very well. And what's about you, Douglas?
I'm doing well, thank you very much. And where are you based at the moment, Koffi?
Oh, I'm based in Bordeaux, in France. You know,
Beautiful.
It's a big city in France. So 2 hours from Paris in train.
Amazing. And is that where you're originally from? Is that where you're based?
No, I was based in Toulon. It's a city next to Marseille. I don't know if you
I
play
know
football
Marseille.
or not, but you can maybe know the Olympique de Marseille. So Toulon is a city next to Marseille.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm glad the time zone suits you for this call, and we really appreciate you joining. I'm sure the community are very excited to hear. They've heard from a bunch of people from the backend team, and it's great to have you as the main guy at the top of the engineering tower giving their 2 cents. So let's jump straight into the questions, Koffi. Let's start with a simple one. What's your journey at Ultra been like so far?
So I work at Ultra now since 6 years. I started since 2018 December. I started as senior backend developers. Then after 2 years, I became a lead backend manager. And since the previous year, I'm now the lead engineering manager, so I manage the backend and front-end team.
Amazing. Well, appreciate that. And thank you for that, Koffi. Really appreciate it. And tell us, what sparked your interest in gaming? Have you worked in gaming before Ultra?
To be honest, I'm not a regular player. Huh? I like games, and I like to play games with my children, and I also play games since my childhood. But I'm not a regular player, to be honest. What I like with Ultra is we can play and earn, especially because I spend a lot of money for my son by buying a lot of skins for a given game. I won't say the name, and I never got a return on investments. So that's what I like in how with the games. Yeah.
Awesome. So Ultra is your first gaming position in terms of working in the gaming industry.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad to have this experience with Ultra, with a very skillful team. So yeah, that's my first experience.
Perfect. And is Ultra also your first blockchain related position?
Yeah, that's my first position on the blockchain space.
And so you haven't worked in blockchain before. Now you are a developer. So have you been a blockchain developer before you were
No.
No?
That's my first opportunity with Ultra, to be honest. And that's very well. I learned a lot in this company. That's very awesome to the work in Ultra and learn about the blockchain. So yeah.
It sounds like a pattern in Ultra because we had Duncan on last week, and Duncan also learned a lot of his blockchain development skills here at Ultra. And it's great that Ultra's created that environment for people to grow and learn. And so that's great to know. And now all the way up to lead engineering manager. So you obviously know a lot more about blockchain than when you started here.
Yeah, sure. To be honest, I also joined Ultra to learn about that. I was excited about this new technology, so I saw that's a perfect place to join and try it.
Perfect. Well, can I ask you, hearing about blockchain originally, what made you actually decide that a blockchain gaming company was where you wanted to be? Was it more Ultra as a whole that you wanted to join, or did you have some friends here that sort of invited you into the scene? What was the process there?
Yeah, I have friends, which is we are Hugo. Hugo taught me about Ultra technology, about the blockchain technology they use. And I also talked after that later with David, and it was amazing. So I was excited to join Ultra because of all this talk I had with Hugo and David.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. It does seem like David has brought on a lot of the engineering team through personal connections, and that's the best way to build a team. So that'll be great. Shout out to David for putting together such a strong back-end team. Brilliant. So can you walk us through a normal day or typical day as a lead engineering manager at Ultra?
Yeah, so currently I'm more focused on I would say, on the development team. So my day to day is I do Scrum ceremonies. So we do dailies every day to talk each other to say where we are and what we will do during the day. We also have refinements, some brainstorming meetings with all the team. So not only back and front end, it's also data, blockchain team with PO. No. As a lead engineering manager, I have also some one-to-one meetings for the career with my team lead, so front end and back end team lead. So that's pretty much that my day-to-day work. So it's and also
A lot of
I have
managing.
some a lot of managing and also the development also.
Perfect. So that sounds like quite a busy day, quite a handful of a day. And you've obviously been doing a great job with all the milestones hit recently. So thank you for that. And at the moment, with your development, with the management, and working directly with the engineering team, are there any special projects at the moment you're working on that you're most looking forward to?
Yeah, currently I'm working on the Ultra royalties program. So my part is more about you have a gift card and you can have tokens. You can redeem the code for this gift card and get some tokens. So that's what I'm doing currently. Very exciting. A lot of possibilities with this loyalty program.
So why is that one of the exciting projects that you're working on? Why do you consider that the exciting part? You just enjoy the idea of having the community sort of having their own mini fidelity point system?
Yeah, it's bring a new way for people to use our platform first, and also by doing some stuff, they can get some loyalty points. You can also if I have to bring someone of my family to use the Ultra platforms, I can buy a gift card and just offer to them this gift card, and they can join the Ultra platform. They will create an account and they will use their loyalty points. So that's very good also. They have this kind of feature on our platform.
Awesome. I'm sure the community are looking forward to that. I can't remember exactly what on the roadmap it is scheduled for. I think it's Q3, but either way,
Maybe.
it's going to be a very fun feature for the Ultra community and other people to join in. So thank you. I'm glad you're looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that too. And finally, my question for you, Koffi, is I know you said you're not much of a gamer, not much of a player, but most people here at Ultra have a favorite go-to game. What is your go-to game at the moment?
At the moment, it's more a mobile phone game. So it's like a Candy Crush game, you know.
Like Candy Crush.
Yeah. I don't remember, to be honest. It's a wild match game. I remember now. Yeah. So
Okay.
I just play sometimes, but as I said, I'm not a regular
Well, I
gamer.
think a lot of the community are going to hear that answer and they're going to go, "That's not a game. That's a mobile app." But I totally get it. That's perfectly fine. To each their own, Koffi, and I'm glad that that keeps your maybe brings your stress levels down when it's a hard day at Ultra.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Well, Koffi, I really appreciate your time. I know that you're a busy guy, and I know you got to get back to managing the engineering team. So thank you so much for joining. And everybody who's watching, please do send a good thanks to Koffi. He's a busy guy, so getting 10 minutes out of him alone is an achievement, if I do say so myself. So thank you, Koffi. And do you have any last words for the community before you head out?
Just to come to the platform. It's very fun. We will have more features on this platform. So let's join us and have a good fun on the Ultra platform.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Koffi. I really appreciate it. And I will hopefully chat to you soon on Ultra Reload again, but I know I'll see you at work. So you have a great day and we will chat soon. Thank you, Koffi.
Thanks.
Well, that was Koffi, guys, lead engineering manager at Ultra. What a guy. Awesome to work with. Very nice guy, as you know. So thank you for that, Koffi, and always appreciate your time. So, guys, that is it for Ultra Reload number 15 this week. Again, thank you so much for getting us to number 15. Thank you guys for your participation and your ever supportive engagement in Ultra, but also these formats that we want to put together, give you more transparency, more information. And we'll be going through industry updates from now on. That's going to be a cool segment. I'm looking forward to that. We're all going to learn together and comment together. But please, guys, if you have questions for Gus next week, go to the CEO Q&A questionnaire form in Discord. We will also be posting it to Twitter or X. Sorry, Elon. And go submit your questions through there. We always love combing through X to find all your questions, but it is just so much easier and right direct to Gus if you send it through that form. So please do that. It will be much appreciated. Other than that, thank you so much to Koffi for jumping on and giving us his 2 cents on working at Ultra and what he does during the day. It's always great to have the back-end guys in the front. We've been very much enjoying hearing everybody's take on working at Ultra and their individual contributions. So thank you guys again for the support, and we hope to see you next week. If you do have any questions, if you do have anything you want to add or any updates that I missed of the week, please put them in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. This is Ultra, and this is Ultra Reload, and we will see you next week.
It's time for your favorite show. We'll make your brain explode. I am your host. Welcome to Ultra Reload.